Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Gonna wait a few minutes and then we start. So what do you do for Thanksgiving? Do you celebrate? Hi, how are you? You guys gonna do something? You know, my son does it. So
Listen, my Zoom, I know, Arlene,
we have a few minutes. We have a few minutes.
I'll call you
It's okay.
later because it's Thursday. I'll
That's so
call you
funny.
later, okay? Okay, okay. Oh,
Hi.
okay. No, I know. Okay, all the best. I'll call you later. Okay.
Anyways, I have to wait a few minutes to start the class because it's supposed to start today 10:10. So I'm just waiting a few minutes. I know everybody gets extra credit for coming on Thanksgiving. But you know, I'll start to talk about Thanksgiving. I heard a class that was very interesting by Rabbi Pinchas Taylor. He spoke at the shul last week. He was you couldn't come to that. He was fascinating. There were two speakers. Pinchas Taylor was the second speaker, and he's a real historian. It's incredible how he knows his things and his dates and all the information. And he gives classes online. He has a YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to it. I just subscribed to it because he's fascinating. And he spoke about the significance and the origins of Thanksgiving. So he says that, you know, it originated with the immigrants that came from Europe in the 1500s to the United States. And in fact, they were like in the boat when they were coming, they were reading one of the Hodu prayers. The Hodu prayers are the Hodu Ladonai Kitov and the Hallelujahs, and it was a prayer in Hebrew that we read, and it's giving thanks to Hashem. So the whole concept of giving thanks to Hashem, because they were looking for a new land that they could worship God in their particular way with freedom, and that's where it originated. So it has Jewish origins, and anyways, it is talking about thanking the Creator, right? Thanking God, which is a universal concept. And I had also heard from another teacher that the reason that we eat turkey on Thanksgiving is because a turkey in Hebrew is hodu. Yeah, hodu, and so it's like from giving thanks, from hoda'ah, from the word for turkey is thanks. So this was early, with the pilgrims in the 1500s, and then he says that the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb, of the poem, she was actually the person that pushed a Congress for years until they actually, like, Abraham Lincoln made it into a national holiday, and she was pushing for it like for years, like more than I don't know how many years, and because she wanted to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday of giving thanks to God. Yeah, very interesting. So, then Pinchas Taylor speaks about, different Jewish rabbis and leaders. How some say no, we shouldn't celebrate it because, it's not in the Torah, it's not this, but he nevertheless says there's a lot of parallels between Thanksgiving and Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is also like giving thanks to God, giving thanks to God that we are resting, giving thanks to God that we have reconquered the temple. and this is what the pilgrims were originally thinking. They were thanking God for reaching, it was a very difficult voyage that they had, and for reaching this new land, and really for everything that was good. So, I believe it has universal significance of just thanking God, which is beautiful, right? Anyways, okay, so we are on chapter 27, okay, on page 156. And I really encourage everybody that is online to get this book. Rita, I encourage everybody to get this book so you can follow at home. It's a beautiful book, full of colors and stories. It's an amazing book. I love it. And it's very interesting because we're going to talk about, what we know. The whole premise of the Tanya is that we have two souls, right? And that we have to vanquish our lower soul, our animal tendencies. And we know that is our avodah. This is what we came to do. But chapter 27 will speak about what happens when we get that urge. Like, I thought I had already conquered it. I'm about teshuva of like more than 30 years. I thought I already was beyond, speaking Lashon Hara. I thought I was beyond, saying or eating something that is not kosher. I thought I was beyond the desire. I thought I was on a different already level, right? And so that's where chapter 27 is going, because the divine soul is a realist. It accepts reality. It knows who it is. But it's in sync with Hashem. Whatever Hashem presents, it's happy. If it got the job, it's happy. If it didn't get the job, it's happy. If it got the position, it's happy. Because it knows whatever happened is for the good, right? But what about our ego? I wanted that. I thought I should deserve it. I deserve it. I should have gotten that position. I wanted that house. I wanted, that job. I wanted that dress. So what happens when we get that urge? Now, I have brought, a racket, and we've said that life is like a tennis match, because in the tennis match, it's not about actually getting the ball, right? It's not about it's about throwing it back. And in the process, I do an exercise. Why? Because I'm running, because, I have to think, where am I going to get the ball? How am I going to throw it? And all of that is really working me. I am refining myself in the process. So every time that my divine soul has to outdo a desire from my animal soul, that's it. It's like, I'm throwing it back. I am winning over. Okay. Now, I was thinking that in the opening chapter of the Tanya, it says like this. It says that when a soul comes down to this world, the soul is said, you will be a tzaddik and not a rasha. Imagine, it is made to swear an oath. It's like when a person is going to be enlisted in the army, they have to take an oath, right? I'm going to serve my country, right? So when a soul comes to this world, before it comes down to this world, it is also made to take an oath. What is the oath in heaven? It's like an opening premise in the Tanya, the opening paragraph. It says, every soul has taken an oath to be a tzaddik and to not be a rasha. Okay, very nice, right? I'm going to be a tzaddik and not a rasha, but we know the soul of a tzaddik is a special soul, endowed to be able to be a tzaddik, endowed to be able to take out these lower tendencies in me. And like, I have the ability. Now, if I am not in that category, I can never be. So then the oath continues, and not be a rasha. A rasha is what? I am going, because Hashem made me with these lower tendencies, I'm just gonna, live it up. I'm going to just do whatever I want. I'm going, I want to be a boy today. I want to be a girl tomorrow. I want to be a boy again. I'll be whatever I want. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Was here talking about something
Yeah.
about Tanya too.
Yeah.
And she was explaining to us because she's a psychologist, right?
Psychologist. Yeah.
And how she works with this.
Yeah.
Work. It's so amazing because it's connected.
Everything is connected.
Telling us, like,
yeah.
Do you think you can follow your heart? This phrase,
right?
It's the point. You just can be a good Jew if you know how to control your emotions.
That's right.
And don't be like a Rasha.
Right.
Try to be a Benoni.
Right.
Because Tzaddik, it's a whole
right.
different soul. So
right.
we needed to try
right.
a lot, all the time. The fight between the animals.
Right. And that's what we came. We came for the fight. Hashem made us fighters. We came all the time. It's like we're just throwing back the ball. We're just throwing, right? But so this oath that we took, you're gonna be a tzaddik and you're not gonna be a rasha, right? But then it says like this: what if, because of your behavior, you're trying to do good and you do good, and then everybody comes to tell you, you're such a tzaddik, you are such a tzaddik, you are my tzaddik, you are such a tzaddik, right? What does it Tanya say? It says, don't believe it. Don't believe it. Remember, the divine soul is a realist. It knows who it is, right? It knows I'm capable of behaving like a tzaddik, but I am going to get the desires of my animal anytime. And yesterday, my niece is here visiting, and she has 2 children. One is, I think, about like 3 years old, and he's like a little angel. You see him, he's like a little angel, soft spoken, and he was just like, sucking his thumb, and he was walking around, and I'm holding the baby. The baby is like 2 months old. So I'm holding the baby, and this 3-year-old, he just looks with his innocent eyes, and he comes with that same look. And as soon as he gets near the baby, he kicks the baby. Like, where did it come from? Like, what did you do? Right? And then, the mom says, no, you don't do that, right? And then, okay. Then they calm him down. He's fine. And again, later on, the same thing. He's like, everything's placid. Everything's good. The baby didn't do a thing. He just looks at the baby. He comes around like strolling. And then as soon as he's with the baby, he just sticks out his foot and kicks the baby. Very interesting. It's very interesting. That's his animal soul. Because as we said, the animal is the ego. And the ego, our sages tell us, there's a secret. There's a secret inside every ego. And the secret inside every ego is, I want the whole world to myself. I want all the attention to myself. I want my mommy all to myself. I want, that's the reason that Cain killed Abel. They were the only 2 CEOs in the whole world. Imagine, like everything, all the oil fields, all the diamond mines, everything was just going to be divided between 2 people. There were no more people. But it wasn't enough, because the ego is, I want it all to myself. I do not want to share. And that voice, if it's not kept in check, that voice is coming to me. If I don't hit it back, right? It can conquer me. And that's the reason that Cain killed his brother. Imagine. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take it that I have to share with another human being, that there's somebody that maybe can serve Hashem better than me. With competition, it can either make you be better, or I kill the competition. Then there's no competition. Dictatorships do that all the time. They kill all the competition, right? And we can see it in different parameters in life. We can see, sometimes bad news in the world. And when we see bad news happening in the world, what happens? The ego wants to shut down. Oh, it's such a bad world. Oh, everything's going too terrible. I'm gonna get depressed. I just like I'm shutting all I don't want to feel. Or we see bad things happen in the world. We can actually take that as an impulse. That means I have to be better. I have to do one more mitzvah. I have to be even better. That's what Hasidus teaches us. Hasidus teaches us that when a bad thing is coming, when an impulse is coming, when a lower, something that we are not expecting is coming our way, that is an impetus. We should take that. And that now I'm going to learn how to throw it over. So I have to be better. I have to be another act of chesed, another act of kindness. And, something I was telling Emilia this week, something that impacted me very much is when I heard here in the shul, there was a hostage, a lady hostage that was let out early on, thank God. She was there a few months. Horrible, what she suffered, which we will never know. May we not know. And she said, when she was leaving Gaza, she was actually thanking Gaza. She turned around, and as she was leaving Gaza, she was thanking Gaza. Why? Because this adversity in her life, and Chas v'shalom, she was raped. She was everything. But she changed for the good. She didn't have a good relationship with her mother before. She didn't have a good relationship with Israel before. She thought Hamas and the Palestinians were such great people. She would help them out. She was thinking that now she knew the truth. Now she knew evil was evil. And now she knew what goodness is. And she herself had grown through the experience in a good way. And, somebody in the audience, after she spoke, asked her, so what is your, like, what would you tell the Jewish people now? And she said, I would tell the Jewish people, be more Jewish. Do more acts of kindness, because that's what Jewish people do. Do more acts of mitzvot. Do good. Imagine, this is coming from this woman that before she was like not in touch with her Judaism at all. But through this adversity, she chose that it should bring out the best in her. This is where we have to go. So I thought it was very strong, because the Tanya tells us, and by our behavior, sometimes I'm in shul, right? People see me praying and they say, oh, you're such a tzaddiket, Vivian, you're such a tzaddiket. If I believe it, I'm in trouble. If I ever believe it, and then I can sit down and relax. Oh, I reached it. I can relax now. I'm in trouble. Because when we are not at tzaddiket, when we're not at tzaddikim, right? Then what happens? The animal soul is going to wake up. And then if I relax, then I'm not ready for it. And then it's going to take over. I'm not going to be ready, because I thought I was at tzaddiket. I believe people. People think I'm at tzaddiket, so I should be at tzaddiket, right? I mean, if everybody tells me that, then I should believe it. And the Tanya says, don't believe it. Don't believe it. Think of yourself as a Rasha. Why? Not in the bad sense of a Rasha. The Tanya has its own dictionary. A Rasha merely means a person that can have impulses from its lower instincts. And what are our lower instincts? What is the animal soul? The animal soul is not bad. It could be badly used, but it's where we get it came from Hashem, but it's our instinct of fight or flight. You know what instinct of fight or flight is? When you're gonna burn yourself with the fire and you go, ouch, right? And oh, or there's a poisonous plant, or the poisonous snake, or a barking dog, and we see it, and all of a sudden, we start to perspire, and we say, oh, I have to protect myself, and I better fly. I better run away from here, right? Or maybe I attack the dog. Maybe I attack the snake. This is the fight or flight instinct. This comes from the animal, because the animal is that fight or flight, right? The animals are constantly, you see, you're walking on the beach, there's two dogs that are going to meet each other. What do they do? Right? I don't know how dog owners do it because, okay, but that's another story. But we need that fight or flight. It's necessary. We need to protect ourselves. There's moments in life that we need to run away. We need to, or protect ourselves. We need to fight back. We need to, right? And that comes from the animal. We can't say, oh, I don't want an animal. I don't want to feel it. No, we need that animal. It's survival, right? But not to the extent that sometimes I'm so scared of life, I don't want to leave my room. I don't want to leave my bed, because I could get germs outside. I don't want to have I know a person, right? She didn't want to have guests because the guests will bring germs to my house, right? And the husband said to me, Vivian, could you talk to my wife, please? Because she won't have guests. This is a true story. Because this is the fight or flight instinct. I want to protect myself. I don't want to receive germs, but it's taken out of proportion. It has totally conquered the person, so the person can't even function, right? So it has its purpose, but we need to put it in perspective. Okay. All right. So now you think that's about anymore? Okay. One second. Let me do this works. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, so let's go. So we're in page 156, and I really would love everybody that's online to have one of these at home. That would be great. Okay, so we're gonna finish on 156. In fact, feeling depressed when we mess up is a sign of arrogance. And I think it's very incredible. It's saying, a person messed up, right? I did something wrong. So when I get depressed because of it, it's actually telling me it's not coming from humility. It's coming from arrogance. What is the arrogance? Why is there arrogance there? Because I thought I was a tzaddik. I thought I wasn't gonna mess up. I thought I was already, beyond. I thought, sometimes, like I mentioned this story with a little child, like he's goody, and then he comes over to his little baby and just kicks him. Like other people just kicks him. I thought I was beyond that. So sometimes we do things like that. Sometimes yesterday I was cooking and I had messed up. I was making my sourdough, it's new for me. I was trying to do it and I messed up the quantities, and then I was trying to fix it, and then I was trying to do desserts and all these things. And because today is Thanksgiving, I wasn't going to have the help in the kitchen. So I was trying to finish. So we finished. And then my husband comes into the kitchen and he had bought me this little water pick, like a little travel water pick. Like he was so happy that he had gotten it for me. And it comes in the middle of me, I'm trying to do mental gymnastics, to this and that and measure and this and that. And he says, oh, can I show you how to work it? And it was in that moment, I was like, no, no, you can't show me anything now. No, please don't. No, but let me show you doing it. It's really amazing. You're gonna love it. No, as I was
I can relate.
You know what? And perhaps I was a little harsh, right? And later on, when I finished cooking, I get into, to my bed, and he says, you were a little rude to me today. So, I'm really sorry. You know what? I don't mean to be rude. it's just that you caught me in a moment, like I just messed up in the sourdough. I was like measuring in my head, and I was trying to finish, and I was like, like 10,000 things at a time. So we're gonna mess up. You know what? I didn't mean it. And of course, now I think, men are like little boys. Like if my little 5-year-old would come, mommy, I have this little present for you. We have to like take a breather and answer them. And yeah, we have to do that. But in that moment, I couldn't. I was like in a, leave me alone. I just like fight or flight, like leave me alone. I need my space. So what happens when we get depressed? Like I messed up. What if I would get depressed? So feeling depressed when we mess up is a sign of arrogance. What is the arrogance? The arrogance is thinking, I shouldn't mess up. I thought I was at tzaddiket. I thought I was at tzaddik. I thought I had already passed that. Hashem is telling us, no, you're not in that category. So don't get depressed. So imagine, not only are we going to make a mistake in life, we already have to fix it, because everything we break, we have to fix. But now, a double thing is that if I get depressed, now I'm like, now I have to get undepressed. It's like now I have to fix two things, right? Okay. So proof that we expect ourselves to be perfect, right? Why is it arrogance? Because we are expecting ourselves to be perfect. And if we're not perfect, to not even want to do anything wrong, right? I shouldn't even have the desire to do something wrong. But they're telling us we have that desire, and it's normal. And that's the tennis ball coming. It's the desire, and I have to say no. So now I have to be more vigilant of myself. Imagine, I try every day to be better and better and better. But now I know when I'm going to get myself into a situation of tension, like sometimes in the kitchen, and a family member is going to come, I have to like, okay, show me. Yeah, that's so nice, right? Okay. But okay, we expect ourselves to be tzaddikim, but how can we have that expectation? Why do we have that expectation? If we are honest with ourselves, we realize that we are very far from being perfect tzaddikim, right? So the divine soul is a realist. It knows its station. It knows where it is. We are imperfect people with unique strengths. We are imperfect. We have amazing strengths, but we are imperfect. We are going to sometimes do the wrong thing. We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to react the wrong way. So what? Let's just go over that. Flaws and failings. When we embrace our imperfect selves and have realistic and honest expectations of ourselves, our struggles and failures will no longer shame us. That's where humor is also very important. We need to be able to laugh at ourselves. It's very healthy. It comes from a healthy self-esteem to be able to laugh at yourself. It comes from being humble, right? If I am so harsh with myself that I expect myself to be perfect all the time, when I mess up, I can't even pardon myself. I'm going to be very harsh, right? I was listening to one of my sons sent me a class today by this psychotherapist, which she's very amazing. And she was saying that people have to be able to when we mess up. Wait, what was she saying? Now I forgot. She was saying that I don't remember what she was saying. She was saying something very interesting. She was saying that I don't remember her point. It was very good. I'll send you the class. I'll put it online. But she was saying that patients have to be able to analyze themselves and to only if you are a realist and analyze yourself, can you go now beyond yourself, right? But we have to accept ourselves. We are going to mess up. That's part of life. She was saying that some patients, they won't be able to heal, and they won't be able to go beyond, because they're always wanting to understand why. Like, why did I mess up? Why did that happen to me? Like, why did I fail, right? And
That's psychoanalysis.
it's not psychoanalyst, but it's no, she says people that do not effectively heal, it's because they're focused more on the why than on the what. What can I do about it now? Because not always are we going to understand why. Like this chapter tells us, we are going to mess up, because that's how Hashem made us. We have an animal soul. The desire is going to come. This is going to come my way, right? If I am focused on but why did that happen to me? Like, why did I say the wrong thing? Like, if I focus on last night, let's say just last night, but why did I behave that way to my husband? Like, why didn't I answer nicely to him in that moment? Like, why did was I a little bit harsh? Why? I don't know why. I mean, like, yeah, I had tension and my animal kicked in, and it was like fight or flight and leave me alone. I need my space. So I wasn't able to control the way I speak. Divine soul is all about control. It's all about choice. The divine soul lets me choose, lets me understand the situation, and then choose how am I going to handle it. I'm not going to be a victim of the situation. Joseph in jail in Egypt chose to be optimistic. Joseph in jail, he chose to be not depressed. You understand? So it's when we focus just on the why did I behave that way? Why did it happen? Why? We don't have all the answers. I'm not God. God has the answers. We don't understand everything that happens in life. We don't. Chazé Shalom, a flood comes. I was reading the book of Whole Foods, the story of Whole Foods. It's really fascinating. When they started in a little shop, okay, in Austin, I think Austin, Texas. It was a little shop, and they did it with their hands. They really literally they made the shop with their hands. Everybody was working hands-on. It was very successful. I think they were open like a month. It was like hugely successful, right? And then what happened? There was a flood that happens in Texas once in 100 years. Once in 100 years, a flood came and flooded the whole business. Like everything that they had built, ruined. All the food that they had bought, ruined. What did they do? Did they focus on why did this happen? Because they would still be asking it today. Like, why was it our luck? Why did we do why did it happen? Why did it happen to us? Why? They would still be there. They immediately, people came, volunteers, and they cleaned up the store. They got people lend them money. They started again, and look, they became huge. Whole Foods is like hugely successful. They didn't focus on the why. They focused on the what can we do now? What can we learn about this, right? How can I be better, right? This is the challenges in life. This is what they're telling us. Okay, so. Oh, okay. So here we go. And so when we embrace our imperfect selves and have realistic and honest expectations of ourselves, our struggles and failures will no longer shame us. They're not a cause for shame. We just accept that, and that also happens in like interpersonal relationships. Sometimes somebody does something to us and we never forgive them. Like, we never forgive them, but it's not it's not fair. If it's a little thing, because everything's going to be imperfect. After all, it is precisely our struggles, our imperfections, flaws, and failings that make our avoda so dear and precious to Hashem. Hashem, we are here in the resolution of conflict. If we're not tzaddikim have already finished that resolution. The King David says, my heart is void within me. It means I finally eradicated that animal soul from me. I don't have it. I don't have that desire. It's not coming to me anymore, right? But if we're not at tzaddik, we are going to be in that predicament. It's going to happen to us. So Hashem is like the spectator in a tennis match, and he loves to see, just like spectators, stadiums are filled with people that want to see how these two teams, they go at each other. Or, and that's what they're watching. And this is the resolution of conflict, right? So perhaps this is what we were created for, not to rid ourselves of the struggle, but rather to keep wrestling with the klipa and keeping it in check. So it's not to allow it to win, but it's to keep it in check. Every time we throw back the ball. Imagine playing soccer with only one team. So we said, okay, but what if we didn't have a struggle? Wouldn't the world be better? So what if the soccer is only with one team? Would anybody be watching that game? What if tennis was with only one person on the court? Is anybody, who's going to throw the ball? There's no challenge, right? Or playing chess against a 2-year-old child. There's no struggle, right? You could kick many more goals with speed and accuracy and topple his king in a few moves. But what pleasure would it be? The thrill and pride of winning comes only when it is against a tough opponent. So that's another thing, because the Rebbe says, from the strength of my animal soul, as strong as it is, as passionate, as scheming as it is, I know the ability of my divine soul, because Hashem won't put an animal soul that is so strong in a person's divine soul that is not as strong. So as strong as my animal is, that is evidence that I can conquer it, because my divine soul is as strong. Maybe my divine soul is sleeping. I have to wake it up. Maybe it doesn't have techniques. I have to teach it. That's where Torah study comes in. It's in order for me to know what I am made out of, to know that I have the divine power, to know I have it inside of me, to give me techniques to work now, right? But as strong as my animal is, as strong is my divine soul. And when this gets stronger and it gets wiser and it gets more schemy, so does my divine soul. So as a person, Chas v'Shalom, could have very, very strong passions. It could be addictions. It could be many, many things. But the sages tell us there's no such thing as a person that Hashem has endowed them with the ability to overcome their lower passions. There's no such thing, because that would be totally unfair, and Hashem won't ever do that. Okay. All right. So imagine, the thrill and pride of winning comes only when it is against a tough opponent. One should not feel depressed. Page 157 on top, about the fact that they need to struggle. So struggle, we came to life for that. Rather, they should be joyful for 2 reasons. First, they have fulfilled the mitzvah of not following the temptations of the heart. So the temptations of the heart are the desires that come from the animal. This is my desire. And when I throw that ball back, I am not listening to it. So I'm fulfilling one mitzvah, that is, do not listen to your heart, right? This is a mitzvah that tzaddikim cannot fulfill because they have no temptation. So there's a very famous story. A chassid comes to the Rebbe and he says, Rebbe, what should I do? I don't want to study Torah. I don't have any desire to study Torah. So what should I do? My desire for not studying Torah is so strong. How does the Rebbe answer this person? And what should I do that I want to study Torah? That says a good answer from a Jew is another question. What is he saying to him? This Chassid is saying, my temptation for not studying Torah is so strong that I don't know how to overcome it, right? Or I shouldn't get this temptation. I should be wanting to study Torah. Right? But I desire physicality. I want to go to work. I want to go to the beach. I want physicality. I don't want spirituality. And the Rebbe answers, and what should I do that I only want Torah? I only want to do mitzvot, which means I don't have this challenge, so I am not getting the credit as you are. I don't have to overcome something, right? So for me, it's not difficult, but I'm not getting I'm not getting brownie points up there. For the Rebbe, it's easy, right? And so he's saying to the person, you're so lucky, because for you, every effort to overcome, spending time in the internet and pulling yourself out and saying, no, I'm going to study Torah. You know how many times at night I say, I take a book of Torah with me, and I end up not opening because I said, okay, I want to just look at the news, what happened today, and then there goes the minutes. There goes the minutes. And I wasn't able to, win over that temptation. And Hashem probably is waiting. Come on, shut off that phone, right? Shut off that internet. Go study Torah. And when we actually do it, Hashem gets a lot of naches from us, right? Okay, overcoming a challenge brings tremendous joy and pleasure to Hashem. This is the avoda that he wants from us. Okay, one more. Although a person can reach higher when he's led by the hand, his accomplishments is more cherished when it is generated by his own efforts. Hashem could make us robots. He could have made us angels. Angels do not have the animal, but it doesn't give him so much pleasure. It's pleasure because he put the animal in us and we overcome our temptations. Hashem could make a little pill, a chip. Maybe one day it's going to be. You just take a little pill and you automatically want to do mitzvot. But are we going to get are we going to grow through that? People that take pills or operations to lose weight, right? As so many are doing today. But are they really learning how to eat? Are they refining themselves in the process? Why does Hashem make us gain weight when we eat too much? Did you ever think about it? First of all, it's a temptation. Eating is a very animalistic, it's survival. It comes from the animal. And every time we have to measure ourselves and we have to say, this I can eat, this I cannot eat, this quantity, it's delicious, but I can't eat so much. It's all about, in that process, we are like constantly throwing the ball back, because my temptation is to eat and eat like a glutton, like Asaph, right? But every time I don't, even Tanya's going to tell us how to eat. What is my intention when I eat? Like all of that is important because that is a process of refining myself. So through something so animalistic, it's an opportunity that Hashem gives us daily to practice this inner tennis game and to refine ourselves. But what happens when a person is eating anything they want and they just put their little injection and then they don't gain the weight? So, they're not fighting, they're not learning, they're not refining themselves, and who knows what's the consequence of such a weight loss? There's no such thing as a free lunch in life. There's no such thing. I'm sure there's some consequences it's gonna have. So people are like deluding themselves, right? Because I want to look skinny. I want to look good, but at what cost? And I'm not learning how to discipline myself, because that discipline that I get through eating will be applied across the board. The Torah is da'at. It's not just one level. The discipline I learn in one part of my life will be applied to another part of my life. The discipline I learn through food, I will apply into my study, I will apply into my personal life, I will apply into my personal relationships. It will carry through. Are we together? Okay. All right. So, okay. One more thing here. And here it says, battling evil in the green part. Every time we resist our nefesh habit, every time we resist this impulse from the animal and do not give in to its impulses, we are weakening the forces of klipa in the entire world. We're going to explain what klipa is. Every negative impulse we have is an opportunity to fight and defeat cosmic forces of darkness and evil. So everything that is in life is God. Anything that obscures open godliness is called klipa. Klipa is like a shell, like a husk, like a curtain. In order to make a physical world, Hashem creates klipa. How does he create klipa? Is by putting a veil over his light. Let's say there's a sun, but I want to be able to read here. And if it's all the sunlight is coming in, I can't read. So I need to put a curtain, right? When I put a curtain, now the light is diminished. So now I can see the letters of the book. If I am outside by the sun, I can't see anything, right? So too in life, everything is godliness. In order to see physicality, the physical world, Hashem creates klipa. So he is clothed, his energy is diminished, so we can actually feel that there's a real physical world. If there was no klipa, we would not see the physical world, because we would see how even everything physical is really godliness. So there will be no challenge, there will be no physicality, right? So what does it say here? Every time we do not give in to one impulse, right? So the impulse is coming from that source of klipa. So Hashem makes the world, and it's like in a balance, spirituality and klipa. Why? If not, there would be no physical world, right? But every time an impulse from the physical world, from the klipa, comes to myself, if I don't listen to it, I am like diminishing I'm diminishing its force. That's why everything we do has a repercussion in the whole cosmos. So I'm not just a little person. It's not just me. Every time I didn't give in to my impulse, I wanted to eat a chocolate bar in the morning. I said, no chocolate for you in the morning. I'm going to wait, right? I'm going to eat something healthy. That little, the chocolate comes from the klipa. That fact that I turned it down, I just diminished the forces of klipa, and I just added on to the forces of spirituality. And not only in me, in the whole world. We have to understand everything that a human being does, especially a Jew, has a repercussion in the cosmos, in the heavens, right? And from the heavens, they're cheering us. Okay, so it's not a little thing, it's a big thing. Okay, we're gonna go on to our Tehillim. Okay, we are in the Tehillim number 13. Do you want a book of Tehillim? Allá atrás. Okay, so we are doing 13 and 14 today. So we have said many times, and this is, to me, it's also a revelation, that Moses gave us a Torah, gave us a way to communicate with Hashem through the Torah, and Torah is the intellect. Torah is called Hashem's chokhmah, his intellect. So through studying Torah, we learn about Hashem, we communicate with Hashem through our intellect. King David, that had pretty much, many similar things that happened to him, like Moses. Moses gave us a way of, through the intellect, to connect to Hashem. And King David, through the Tehillim, he gave us a way through our heart. The Tehillim touch our heart. And it's how to communicate to Hashem through our heart, through our emotions. Both are important because we are intellect and heart, right? The ideal of a Jew is that the intellect should motivate the heart, not the other way around. Because the Rasha is a person whose heart tells his intellect what to do. Like everything that my impulse tells me to do, my intellect will reason it. So the tzaddik and where we should aspire is that my intellect should tell my heart what to do. For instance, if I have to wake up in the morning because I have to make lunch for the children, right? So my heart, good morning. My heart, my impulse tells me, stay in bed. It's better to stay in bed. I don't want to get up. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. How beautiful. But my intellect tells me, it is the right thing to get up and to make the breakfast for the children. So the intellect could actually tell me, get up, make the breakfast for the children, and do it in a way that you love it. And you do it with a smile and do it with energy, right? So that in that example, I just took my intellect and I motivated my heart to serve Hashem. That is the ideal for a Jew, right? That our intellect, that's why we study Torah. So there's books of Tehillim right there. You can give them out. I'll give you more here. Yeah. Tehillim. We're doing, this class is half Tanya and half Tehillim. Okay, so we're on chapter 13. And here, chapter 13. Okay, so what page? Chapter 13 is page 17 in the bottom. 17. So this Tehillim is talking about the long exile. Like we have had 4 exiles. Remember in Pesach, we have the 4 cups, right? The Babylonian exile, the Roman exile, the Persian exile, and now we're in the Edom. We're in the Edomic exile. So the Greek exile. So this psalm by King David is talking about Hashem. When are you going to redeem us? When are you going to send Mashiach? Right? We look at where we are. Look at how many times we have been exiled from Israel. Okay, so this is what this psalm is about. But we can also relate to any situation that is very uncomfortable for us. King David always, in his life, he had many times that he had to run away, even from his kingdom. He was running away for his life. King Saul wanted to kill him, right? And so when a person is taken away from his comfort zone, this is exile, right? Like our sages say, every day we have to feel like we're leaving Egypt. Why? We already left Egypt thousands of years ago, but any situation that we are away from our comfort zone is like our Egypt, is okay. So for the conductor, a psalm by David. Not all the Tehillim were written by David. The ones that say a psalm by David were actually written by him. So how long, oh Lord, will you forget me forever? Like how long are we going to be in exile, right? Until when are you going to forget me forever? It like a person, when a person is suffering, sometimes we think of our suffering as it's going to be forever. But really, we know that it's only like a cloud. It's a cloud. It's right now, and it's going to pass. How long will you hide your countenance from me? As we said, when Hashem doesn't open himself openly, revealedly, it's called klipa. This world, the Alter Rebbe calls it the double and redoubled darkness, which means that God is hidden here, double and redoubled darkness. Where is God in the Holocaust? Where is God in Gaza, right? Where is God when the people were in the tunnels? How could that happen? If there is a God, how could that happen? But this world is called double and redoubled darkness. So he says, how long are you going to hide your countenance from me? How long must I seek counsel within my soul? Like sometimes, where is God? And you have to find the strength within you to escape the grief in my heart all day. So like there's pain, and as we said, the animal soul is like hurting, and we have to, where is God? Sometimes we have to search deeply within us. How long will my enemy be exalted over me? And they're all laughing at the Jews. They're playing, all these hostages. Look here, a little piece of a hostage, I'm giving back to you. They're all laughing. They're laughing in our faces, right? Look, answer me. Oh Lord, my God, give light to my eyes. So here it says, look, answer me, O Lord, my God, give light to my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemy say, I have overcome him. So these phrases, there are 4 phrases that are coming right now. These are the 4 exiles that we have been in, like the 4 cups in the Seder, right? I have overcome him, and my oppressors rejoice when I falter. I have placed my trust in your kindness. My heart will rejoice in your deliverance. I will sing to the Lord, for he has dealt kindly with me. So, I'm sorry. It says from the beginning, how long will you hide your countenance from me? How long might I seek counsel within my soul? How long will my enemy be exalted? Okay. And the first one, which was, how long will you forget me? All these are the 4 exiles. And then when it says, I have overcome him, are the redemptions. Okay. I will sing to the Lord, for he has dealt kindly with me. So they also tell us that this Psalm 13 is talking about the first destruction of the temple, the first exile. And it's a mirror to the Psalm 53, which talks about the second exile. So this is the exile first of the Babylonians. Okay, the second exile was by the Romans. Are we together? So King David he's the sweet singer of Israel. He allows us to connect to Hashem through the heart because he is just filled with emotion. So this is the voice of the person that is saying, Hashem, when are you going to save us? When is this exile going to finish? In the dream of Yaakov with the ladder, they say that the ladder of Yaakov really had 4 steps, and the 4 steps, they symbolize the 4 exiles of the Jewish people, and that's why the angels were going up and coming down. It was like each exile that was conquering us, and they were going up and down. And the last exile, the one that we're in right now, the angel kept on going up, 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 up. And Yaakov was wondering, but, how long is it going to be? Like, it's been already thousands of years, how long are we going to be in this exile? But finally, it'll come down, okay? So now we're going to go to the Psalm 14, okay? 14, okay, so Psalm 14, I'm going to here, okay. Mm. Okay. Okay, so for the conductor, also this is the same theme. For the conductor by David, the fool. 1 second. Okay. Okay. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. So what is it talking about? The people that conquer us, and they say there is no God because nobody's protecting the Jewish people. Man's deeds have become corrupt and abominable. No one does good. So sometimes we look at life and we say, where are the good people? Like so much evil, where are the good people? The Lord looked down from heaven upon mankind to see if there was any wise man who searches for God, right? Where are the people, honest people? So we see so many corrupt people. We see so many corrupt leaders. We see so many corrupt rabbis. We see so many corrupt people. And we say, where are the good people? Where are the honest people? So they have all gone astray together. They have become corrupt. We see this in leaders of the world. We see sometimes even presidents, you know, they run on one agenda and then they get to power and then they switch. You know, even Sharon, the president of Israel, he was the warrior. He was always against, you know, all the Arabs. And when he got into power, he gave back Gaza. It was like Bush Katif. It's like, what happened? Okay, the Lord looked down from heaven upon mankind to see if there was any man, any wise man who searches for God. They have all gone astray together. They have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. Indeed, all the all the evildoers who devour my people as they devour bread, who do not call upon the Lord, will ultimately come to know the consequences of their actions. So it says it's not like it they're conquering the Jewish people, you know, as if they're devouring bread. It's like nothing. So okay. So this also, the Rav says that this also refers to unscrupulous judges. And we are seeing this. We're seeing judges that have been elected to very important positions, and they are just giving bad rulings. They are bought out. They're very, very corrupt. It's a very serious thing. Okay. So ultimately, come to know the consequences of their actions. Number 5, they will be seized with fright. It says, finally, Hashem will come a judgment day, and even Baltasar, when he, you know, this Persian that came in to destroy the first temple, that night he died. That, you know, he went that night that he conquered the temple, that night also caused his death. So ultimately there will be a judgment day. Baltasar, that was Baltasar. See, he was like the grandfather of Vashti, Queen Vashti. Yeah, that night. So you scorn the counsel of the lowly, that he puts his trust on the Lord. Oh, that out of Zion would come Israel's deliverance. So there will be a judgment. When the Lord returns the captivity of his people, Jacob will exalt, Israel will rejoice. Okay, I'm going to go to one more. Okay, we're going to go to 15. And now, you know, these two Psalms beforehand have been talking about destruction, about exile, about what happens to the Jewish people, and that Hashem will come to judge us, and they have talked about where are the righteous people. So number 15 talks about what does it take to be a righteous person. So it says about different attributes, okay? A psalm by David. Who may abide in your tent, O Lord? Like who, if your temples have been destroyed, we know that when the Jewish people are good and listen to Hashem, then we're like a diamond. Only a diamond can cut another diamond, right? Only a diamond. Like even how do they cut diamonds? They take another diamond and they cut it because it's so strong. Only the Jewish people have been exiled because of our own iniquities. So now it's talking about what is the merit that we need in order to live in your temple. It says, who may abide in your tent? The tent is your temple, O Lord. Who may dwell on your holy mountain? Who is worthy of meriting your temple? So now it's like a list. He who walks blamelessly, A person that walks and they don't do bad. So they're blameless, acts justly. A person that walks and does good and speaks truth in his heart. A person that is truth in his heart. So they give a story of Rabbi Safra. Rabbi Safra, I think, had an animal to sell. And so somebody comes to him, but he's praying the Amida, right? So the person comes to say, I want to buy your donkey. And Rav Safra is praying, and he says, and the man says, okay, I offer you, let's say, $100 for your donkey. And Rav Safra in his head says, okay, $100 is great. Like, I agree. But he can't speak to him because he's in the middle of the Amida. So the person that came to him says, oh, he probably wants more money. So he says, I give you 200. And Rav Safra doesn't answer. Okay, 300. And doesn't, okay, 400. No, and he finishes the Amida. And Rav Safra says, I'm going to sell you the donkey. So the man takes out $400 to pay him. And he says, no, because in my thought, when you said 100, I already agreed. This is a very high level because he never said it. He just thought about it. But this is the kind of level that this psalm is speaking about. A person who speaks truth in his heart means that what is in his heart is what he says, right? It's not like only what I say. We already know, like a handshake, a signature, I'm liable for this. This is no, it's already what is in my heart, what is in my thought, okay?
So that's why the name of the band is Safra.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Who has no slander in his tongue, who doesn't use the tongue to cut down other people, to slander other people, who has done his fellow man no evil, who has not done bad to other people, and who has brought no disgrace upon his relative, in whose eyes a despicable person is abhorrent. And we read this phrase, and we say, what do you mean? In whose eyes a despicable person is abhorrent? Yeah, a person that is not, but we're living in times where they're calling the Jewish people genocidal, where they're calling Hamas good people, poor Hamas, and bad Israel. So this is like a confusion of who's good and who's bad. So here they say a person that knows this person is bad, right? But who honors those who are God-fearing, that they honor the people that deserve honor, who does not change his oath, even if it is to his own detriment. As we see, Rav Safra lost money on that deal. He could have made $300 more, but he preferred truth to gaining more money, who does not lend his money at interest. That's a very hard one. If he has money and he has to lend it, he doesn't charge interest, not accept a bribe against the innocent. He who does these things shall never falter. What we're seeing today in the fake news is many of these journalists have been bought out. And they're very willing to condemn innocent people. So an explanation of this tells us that all those attributes, there are 11 attributes. They were each one was personified by Abraham, the other one by Yitzhak, the other one by Yaakov, the other one by Binyamin, by Joseph, by Pinchas, by Moshe, David, Boaz, Ovadia, and Shmuel Hanavi. Like all these tzaddikim have, each one has had one of these, but this is what we have to aspire. This is what chapter 15, the verse 15 is about. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so next week we're here. Tanya. Huh?
We were here a few minutes.